Hey, my name is Austin Parrish Thomas. That's my full name. You can probably just call me Austin. We have this little first name basis thing going on. It'll be good. In this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to use Video Copilot's Element 3D and track it into some live footage here, so it looks like it's actually there, with the Foundry's camera tracker plugin. So this might look kind of boring because it's just an iPhone on a desk, but it's not. It's just a desk and then an iPhone added in the 3D. There we go. Right, you see? Oh, it's added in afterwards. So let's get into it. Okay, first what we're going to do is grab our footage and drag it over the new comp button right here, which is going to automatically create a composition that is the same size and length and frame rate and everything as the footage, which happens to be 1920 by 1080 at 29.97 frames per second. And we're going to not use the whole footage because it'll take a while to track it all. But let's grab just a little spot here. If I can find what I want to use right here. Let's do from here all the way to like here. And trim comp to work area. Okay, now we're going to add the Foundry's camera tracker plugin. So let's go to the Foundry under Effects and Camera Tracker, drag it onto that. And all of the normal settings are going to work for us today. So yeah, we'll just use those. But we do have to change the solve. Right here, if you go into solve, twirl that down. The focal length, I do know. This was shot on a Canon 60D with a 24mm lens on it. So that was 24mm. And it asks for film back size. Since this doesn't use film because it's a digital camera, we'll just use the sensor size, which you can find that on a site like B&H. And you find your camera, which is this. And go to specifications and sensor type / size. It's a CMOS chip and it's 22.3 by 14.9. So let's type that in. 22.3 by 14.9. Like that. And we're going to click track. And it's going to track the features forwards, the whole thing, and then backwards again, and verify each track point, and then add new ones if it finds new ones. And it'll take a couple minutes, so I recommend saving first, because if it auto-saves during this process, then it stops it. So, track features. So now that it's done tracking, we are going to solve the camera, which again, this is going to take all of the track points that we just got and figure out where the virtual camera is in relation to the physical camera. So we're going to click Solve Camera. And the total RMS rejection error is 3.28, which is kind of high, but it should probably work for this. If it doesn't, we can come back and fix it slightly to make it a little bit better, but we'll see how this goes. Alright, after that does that, we're going to create scene, which this is going to create the camera, the virtual camera that has all the keyframes for the position and stuff, so it matches the actual camera, as well as create a null object for that links everything together so you can make some adjustments and stuff. So click on create scene, and after it does that, you gotta make sure you don't click on anything because it could crash After Effects. It's happened a lot today to me, and it's kind of annoying. So alright, let's scrub through here, just kind of see what it looks like. You can catch a glimpse of the null object. See how it's like shaking around up here, this null object? That's not good. So let us go to the refine under the camera tracker plugin and delete rejected, and then also delete unsolved. Okay, and we're going to go up and solve camera again. Okay, now the RMS reprojection error is 2.97 now, which is a little bit lower and hopefully a lot better. All right. Yeah, so now it's not shaking around as much. That looks good. Okay. Next thing we need to do is select one of the points kind of in the center of the composition and go to the camera tracker menu down here and ground plane and set to origin. And this is going to make that point be the center of the composition. So now you see the null object is moved there. And we move it, kind of stays a little bit. Hopefully this should be good. All right, now we're going to lock our layer, footage layer, so we can't move it. We're gonna make a new solid right here and name this grid like this. Click OK. And we're gonna go to the effects and generate grid. Drag that over. This is going to create a grid on the layer. We're going to make this layer a 3D layer also. And now we're going to make the size be a little bit smaller. Like this. And click R while the layer is selected, and that'll bring up the rotation settings. And under X rotation, change it to 90 degrees. So it will be flat. Perfect. Alright, but that still doesn't look right, not on there right. So what we need to do is align this. If you click on the camera tracker null object that it created and click W on your keyboard, it'll bring up the controls to rotate this, and we're going to adjust it so that it looks like it's sitting on the desk, which can be challenging. Maybe like that. Let's maybe adjust it just a little bit like this. It's a little bit better. Still kind of rough. Doesn't really lock on until it's here. Alright, so let's see how it looks with Element. Let's create a new solid. Name it Element. Or again, whatever you want, you know. But we went over this last time. Element, and we're going to go to the effects and preset. Let's go ahead and just type in Element here. It's under Video Copilot, and we'll do Element. Drag that in there. Let's set up Element by clicking Scene Setup, and we're going to load iPhone 5 model, which you can see how to load that at Video Copilot's website. They will show you how to do that. And if you'd like to change the logo, you can open up Photoshop and then open up, go to your iPhone 5 folder, which would be under My Models, which is also under Documents, Video Copilot, Models, My Models, iPhone 5, and get the iPhone specular PNG, open that up. This is going to be the materials for this. So what we could do is grab this color here, and kind of just do that like that on a new layer, of course. And then we're going to select this color, and let's create just some random, we'll do this. this. If you hold down Alt and drag, it'll make a new copy here. Let's do like this. So that's our new logo. It's kind of weird and kind of crappy. But we'll have that on the back of the iPhone. And if we also do this, we can change this to say iCircle. And if you use Myriad Pro font, it'll look a lot like the iPhone font. Let's try to see what bold looks like. Meh, too bold. Okay. Now we're going to need to free transform and flip this horizontally so it's backwards on this. And we're going to bring it down. Right here. Like so. Doesn't have to be exact unless you want it to be. It can be as exact as you want it to be. Now if we go to this layer down here again where we've taken this back color, we can kind of go like this. Oopsies. Just fill it like this. There we go, that's our new thing. File, save as, specular, circle. Alright. Save it as a PNG, personal network graphic. Click save, okay. And then go back into After Effects and under body, the body material, go to specular and load the new one, which is this right here. So there we go. It's called iCircle. Isn't that wonderful? Your beautiful iPhone. Okay. Click OK on this. Now we have our lovely iPhone. It's lovely and very large and looks like it's in a weird position. So let's go to group 1 in Element and the particle replicator and the rotation right here. I'm going to set X to 90 so it's on its back, and Z will rotate like this maybe. Okay, obviously that's ridiculously large, so let's make it a little bit lower, or not lower, but smaller. If I go into particle look and changing this to probably like 3 maybe, size to 3. Looks about right, maybe 2.5. Probably more accurate. Well, 2.7. Let's do 2.7 just for fun. All right. And now it's kind of in there. Kind of messes up at the beginning of this clip here, which is unfortunate. All right, let's take away the grid. So there we go. Looks kind of tracked in there. Fairly good, fairly decent. But it doesn't look real at all. And what you need to do is match some of the lighting. So when I shot this, I had a light over here shining on the desk this way. And then you can also see kind of the computer monitor light reflecting off right here. So we're going to need to make some lights. So new light. And we're going to do 150 cone angle. It's probably a decent enough color right there. And click OK. And let's parent this light to the null object right here. And let's reset its position after we do that to 0, 0, 0. So the light is in the middle of the composition, and then it'll be easier to change it. It's also twisted down. Like this. Bring it up more. Here. And take it over this way. And roughly, that's roughly how it goes. Maybe take it over a little bit more. More this way. Like that. So we got the one light, which is the main light that we used. And then we're going to add some light for the computer monitor. So duplicate this light. And go ahead and reset the position. 0, 0, 0. Let's double click on the light and change it to kind of a bluish. Like that, it's probably good. Click OK. Oh dear, and the rotation. Let's change this to 0. Yikes, that is all types of crazy. Alright, and do the Z out a little bit. Whoop. I want to go further away. Lower that down, maybe to 100. And the intensity can come down a lot. And so it's kind of rough. I mean, you want to work on this a little bit more, but that's roughly what it should look like. All right, and let's go back into Element, and we're gonna make just a plane. Go to your primitives and select the plane right there. So that's just a flat plane. And under its materials, go to material, and let's keep it like this for a second as we position it. Make sure you put it on group 2. Click OK. So now we've got this plane, and we're going to scale it up a lot under group 2. Particle look. Scale it up. Alright. And we're going to turn on ambient occlusion, which is under render settings. Ambient occlusion, enable that. And we're going to turn it up a lot just for a second. So you can see it's adding like some shadow around there. But let's turn that down a little bit, turn the radius up a bit. Alright, problem is we have all this white right here, which is not good. So let's go back to scene setup, and under the materials of the plane, going down to the bottom, and matte shadow. So it's only going to show the ambient occlusion here, which just adds a little bit more realism, even though this looks really fake right here. You should probably mess around with it a little bit and tweak it and stuff. And make it your own baby. As creepy as that is. Turn the intensity down, maybe. Just a little bit. Alright. And let's move this down, actually. Go to the plane, particle replicator, and position that down a little bit. Because otherwise it's going to cut it off like this, which is not good. So let's adjust this a little bit more. Radius down a little bit. Intensity down a little bit. Roughly like that. Okay. The last thing that we need to do is try and mimic the depth of field in the camera. So let's go to our camera that was created. Click A twice. and turn on depth of field. And let's change the aperture to like 100, which is going to crush the depth of field. And now do the focus distance further away from the camera. Let's see, let's set this to 500. See what happens. $200. That's blurring it out more. Let's do Let's do 400. Keep messing around with the. There we go. We're getting there. Let's do 350. All right. Let's turn the blur level up a little bit. And this is something you just gotta play with a lot. Let's take the aperture down to like 75. So this is a very rough example of what it should look like. And you just gotta work on it, work with it, and you know, fine tune some stuff, and then it'll look cool. See, it's an eye circle. Isn't that something else? Huh, check that out. So you can trick your friends and make them think that you're cool and have an iPhone 5, unlike me, who doesn't have an iPhone 5. Yeah, so if you somehow enjoyed this tutorial, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll be making more tutorials on various things, such as WordPress. Maybe I might do a how-to on making a custom WordPress theme. So yeah, enjoy that. This result's kind of rough, but again, you gotta just put a lot of time and effort into making it more detailed and accurate. All right, have fun.